Welcome to another in our series of Midrash as a psychological backstory to the Bible. It seems that one of the objectives of God, besides freeing the Jews from Egypt and punishing the Egyptians for their harsh enslavement, was also to get Pharaoh to recognize God. And he finally did, right after the plague of hail. In chapter 9, verse 27, Pharaoh finally declared that God is righteous and I and my people are the evil ones. Why did it take so long? And what is the psychological backstory to someone who's sort of under siege when his country is being clobbered by some God that he perceives as perhaps more powerful than his God, but not really perceiving him as anything special or the only true God, just a more powerful God because, Egypt was very much into idolatry, and it was many, many gods, and you had to just keep them all happy. So this ancient rabbinic source of Midrash gives a psychological backstory. It says that some of the plagues were so precise in let's say they were hitting the fields, and they were so precise that it actually settled border disputes, because the countries close to Egypt saw that exactly the pattern of where the plague hit and which crops were touched and which weren't. And if there were any border disputes, they were settled. And another thing was that everybody was warned that the hail to bring your animals inside, because we don't want to hurt the animals. It was meant to hurt the crops. The Nile turning to blood and the mixed animals and the boils on their skin, these kind of plagues did not seem to have any impact on Pharaoh. But when the precision of God, this sort of morality that is embedded within punishment, that was sort of so unusual and unexpected. Why would a God who's clobbering my country care about not hurting another blade of grass that doesn't belong to me? Why would a God who's clobbering my country and punishing me care about the animals shouldn't be hurt, because this plague was only intended for crops? So these acts of morality within the plagues kind of broke through the defense mechanisms of Pharaoh. But there was something strange and unusual about this God, and this finally broke through his consciousness and helped him recognize God. That is a psychological backstory that the Midrash bring.